All right, we are live and good to go. My audio seems to be fine. You can be fine, right?
I can hear you
Good deal. Welcome,
and I can
guys.
see you.
welcome back, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining again. Listen, I've been watching you for a little bit, of course, and I've been seeing you go on other YouTube channels and really just making a storm, and that's been so awesome. I'm super proud of you. I'm super proud of you. So, before we get into what we're talking about today, just kind of want to break down what we are talking about, and that is MLMs, and we're also talking a little bit about Oregon. So, what better way to talk about those two things than Lisa? So, Lisa, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what we're talking about today.
Yeah, hi everybody. Good to see you again. Good to see my buddy Jonah. He's out there just trying to, as his handle says, figure it out. And I love that because we've all had to turn into like citizen journalists in the last many years. I think trying to figure stuff out, like what is going on. There's just some weird stuff, and it seems like the last 10 years of life, like really been weird. And we can't trust the media, can't trust the news. Everything's just funky. But yeah, that's me. I'm Lisa, and just started speaking out probably in June, I guess it was. I was first on your show, our
Mm-hmm.
first little guinea pig.
Oh, it feels
tried
it
to
feels
tried it.
so long ago, doesn't it?
I know, tried it out together, and that was just my coming out of Amway Worldwide System.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say more is about worldwide because Amway is just a corporation that produces products,
Mm-hmm.
although they do some stuff on the side that we're going to talk about. But mostly it was me coming out of the worldwide training system, which is the LOA, the line of affiliation that Amway networks, a little partnership that they do to train people how to build the Amway business. So
Mm. Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm coming from today. In the MLM world, I was in that business for 30 years.
Oh,
So I definitely,
let's see if we can bring you up a little bit. I don't mean to interrupt you. We
no, go ahead.
have Fish Wife. Thanks for joining.
Oh, that's my best friend,
Hey, how's it going?
Carrie.
Glad to have you here. Okay, so they can hardly hear you, Lisa. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna crank up the volume on the desktop here, and then uh, try and see how that does. Can you hear me just fine? Is my audio fine?
Yeah, I'm turning mine up too, just to see.
Oh, we've got Adria. Adria has just joined us. Welcome, Adria.
That's my good buddy Adria. My two girlfriends here supporting us today.
Good
Awesome. Love you
deal.
guys.
Good deal. Hey, the ladies got to unite.
Can they hear me better?
How's the audio, guys? Is her audio fine? Because I can,
They
I can,
say.
I can turn it up a little bit more.
I've got mine up all the way.
Okay.
Oh.
Go ahead and talk just a little. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of a mic check here. Mic
Say
check 1 2 3.
something. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Anyway, as I was saying, coming out of the Amway Worldwide System after 30 years,
Good
so
deal.
I feel like I have a pretty good insight because of my
Hmm.
length of time in that situation. So I'm just here to help people. I'm just here to help people have questions. I'm not here to defame anybody or make anybody feel bad or say it was all, a bunch of crap. Some of it was, some of it wasn't. But I'm just here to help people because I know there's a lot of people struggling in MLMs right now. They want to know either how to get out, should I get in? So I'm just going to try to be that voice out there to help. That's it. I'm going to be transparent. I'm not going to shoot you any shit. I'm just going to tell you the way I think.
Well, that's the best way to
So,
do it. You know.
yeah.
And it's always hard to leave something that has been planted in you. You know, because someone can lie to you once, right? And you can discern that. But if they keep lying to you and convincing you to believe that lie over anything else, especially, rationality, then that becomes your new truth, right? It's all about It's all about twisting the truth in a way to where it becomes your truth and you live that way, especially for years on end, right? And then that becomes your identity. And when it becomes your identity, you know, it's hard to break away from that, which is understandable. So, how long did you spend in Amway?
So 30 years in the Amway worldwide system,
30 years.
um, 30 years of our life. And that is that is the entire length of time that I've been with my husband. So when I met him, he was in the business, and then, I joined him in that. And yeah, I mean, it's been 30 years of that. So I was just thinking last night, actually, I'm like, we have only had 5 months of our entire married life outside this business. And we're both going through what that means for each of us. I'm more vocal about it. He's not. He doesn't want to talk about it. He's really hurt. I think men tend to, I think we talked about this before, Jonah. I think men tend to internalize these kinds of things not working out as failure. Why do they think that?
Yeah.
Because Worldwide told you that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do this, you're a failure. You're only a winner. In fact, we just had that conversation, as you know, on Julie's channel.
Okay.
Me and her and Stefan. And we talked about I don't know if you've seen that, but we talked all about this mindset of being a winner. What's that mean to be a winner? Well, in Worldwide, we were taught you're only a winner if you do this business and succeed at it.
Yeah.
If you're not, you don't do that, then you're, perceived as a loser.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, my husband's kind of going through, and of course they tell you that because their whole goal, to just back up a little bit, their whole goal is to tunnel you into this system to control the way you think. If they can control the way you think, then you do start to believe that you're a winner or a loser, depending on the growth that you have in any MLM. Really, that's what they're all about. They try to funnel you into a system and a way of thinking, and to get your mind programmed into that, to where you actually do begin to think, I'm a winner or I'm a loser, depending on this, how I build this, or if I don't. So anyway, my husband, he's struggling right now with that. He really is. I think he's feeling kind of like lost a little bit. So we're going to help him get through that.
Oh, of course. And just like the last time we talked, if your husband needs anything from me, just let me know. And I'll do everything that I can. Because, I mean, what better way to talk to another man who's going through the same things, or who has been through the same things, excuse me.
Yeah.
I know how
Thanks,
rough
Jonah.
it is. Well, I mean, I'm just nothing to thank
he
me
tends
over.
to be a little he tends to be a little private, so don't take it personally that he won't reach out to anybody.
Right.
He just won't right now, and that's how he's always been. He tends to just, I want to move on, I don't want to talk about it. And so I'm trying to help him understand that not talking about it isn't really very healthy, and he'll get there. I think he will.
Unfortunately, it's not really a pride thing when it comes to men, and a lot of people, especially women, think it's more of a pride thing. It's an image we have to keep up, right? Because if we see, especially if it comes to women, right? If we start to crack even a little bit, then that image of what you thought the rock to be, the family, right, the man, right, that starts to slip a little bit, and there's a lot of women out there that can't really handle that, right? Just being honest. And so, as the man, it is your responsibility, right, to not crack, especially in front of your family. But please, by all means, any men that are listening out there that do have families, you can crack, absolutely you can. Just don't let it be in front of your family, and go find some brothers. That's exactly why the channel here exists to begin with, is to be a source of, or a beacon, I guess you could say, for men who are lost, especially. And not to take too much time away from Lysa here when it comes to men's issues, but we keep too much shit inside, and we don't talk about it, and then we begin to crack anyways. Right. And so it just really defeats the purpose. So guys, please make sure you go and just be around a good group of fellow men that you can crack around, and then they can rebuild you so that you can go back home to your families, right, and maintain that image and that example for them. So
Yeah, and to add to that, you're so right. Here's the thing. Watching my husband over the last 4 months, since I know you run a men's channel, and congratulations, by the way. I see your channel's growing. I think you have like over 600 people there. I mean, you
Well,
were
it's
like
not
200.
it's not my channel, it's all of our channels, right? And it
Yeah,
started
but
as a
still,
men's channel, but now
yeah,
it's everything at this point.
it's growing like 3 times bigger than the last time we talked. So I'm super proud of you, Jonah, and I'm
We
happy
are
for you because
growing. The family's
I
growing.
know you have I know you have a heart to help people, especially men and vets and stuff. And your
Yeah.
time,
Hmm.
Jonah was for those of you joining us, Jonah was in the military, and
Hmm.
he's that person we need to support because he's supported our country. And my
Thank you.
husband and I are big on supporting the military, absolutely.
Thank you.
Um, but I wanted to say one thing about what you just said was here's the problem with MLMs. Okay, from the man's perspective, I'll say Amway, especially worldwide, because
Hmm.
there's a lot of MLMs that women get involved in, and just them by themselves build it. They're the Hun bots, as they call them.
Yeah. Hmm.
But Amway tends to focus on couples. They really hone in on
Hmm.
the couples thing. You don't see a lot of singles in the business. So our experience was for my husband as a man, the worldwide system was what gave him what you just said, that group of guys to have camaraderie with and to get feedback with. But here's the lie though, that's all great if it's built on the truth, but when it's built on a lie, and you can't ever share negative with each other because that's perceived as sharing negative downline or cross line. You're not supposed to talk about negative things. You're supposed to live in this happy little positive bubble that is not reality. So my husband was conditioned for 30 years to think not talking about his feelings, not talking about anything negative or any of this stuff was perceived as strength when it's not. That's the sad thing. So now he's had 30 years of this conditioning to believe that my guy club worldwide, all these men that would speak on stage, and you remember being an LTD, all the
Hmm.
people that would speak and all these big pins and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Your goal is to be like them. We want to be like that. A man wants to be like that.
Hmm.
And the other day he said to me, well, I have no more association. My association's just been ripped out from under me. And my heart broke for him. And I was just like, honey, we'll find new association. We'll
You
figure
have
some
to.
new stuff out. And so we're in the middle of that. But that's, I think, really important for anybody in an MLM as a man or a woman. That world you see of support is a fake world, because the minute you start questioning
Hmm.
anything they do, anything they say, or why do we do it this way? Why do we have to do it that way? You're gonna be shut right down. They're not gonna tolerate that. It's not gonna be a pretty conversation is what I'm
No.
saying.
No, it's
So
not.
that's the lie involved in that support system of any MLM in my experience, but particularly worldwide. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome, Chris. Thanks for joining, buddy. Well, I'm talking
Hey,
with Lisa right now. If Sky wants to come on stream, she'll come on stream at some point. I'm sure she will.
your dog, Sky?
Hmm.
You talking about your dog?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So,
Well, my
but
friend Adri is a dog lover, so bring Sky on. She's a dog lover.
okay, all right, Sky. We'll go ahead and say hi to Sky real quick.
She actually rescues dogs. She does hospice dog care, so she's a
Sky.
dog person.
Sky's busy taking a nap right now. I don't think so. Oh, okay. Now she's coming out. Come here. Come on. Come say hi. Come on. Come on.
It's so
Come on.
cute.
Come on.
She's like, Dad's busy right now.
What are you
This is
stretching for? Like you just did the hard work. Come on. Come on. Come here. There she is. There she is.
Hi, Sky.
There she is. Mwah.
Your second skin there, I know. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank God for dogs. I miss my pup every day. Every day.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself when Sky goes. So thank you, Adria. I appreciate that. So all right, now that we got our puppy fever at least somewhat satisfied, I guess. Now that we got that fever down, Yeah. So, real quick, I was in Amway, for a couple of months. Um, it's they are they are at Anchor. You're exactly right. Thank you, Chris. Um, I was in Amway for a couple of months, and um, it one thing that I've noticed is that it doesn't exactly matter so much if you spend 10 years, right, or 10 weeks in the quote unquote business. You're still affected the same way because they go after vulnerable people, right? They go after absolutely vulnerable people. um Excuse me, I have so many different conversations with people, and it's always the same thing. It's always the same thing. um that they were in a low point in their life, and the MLM could sense that. They really could. They really could. One thing that I've actually kind of noticed, um, is that when you get into an MLM, it's you're looking for, um, there's validation there, right? And um, they will absolutely play to that validation, and they will absolutely take advantage of that. So I was in there for a couple of months, and I had just dropped out of college because of my mental health for my PTSD and stuff. And so they absolutely could sense that on me, and they took me for a ride. Well, it was, I think it was like $300 later, and a few months later on down the road, I felt absolutely destroyed, absolutely destroyed. And that's when I put my video out, um, and Kirby vacuums. I don't know what those are. Um, I don't know what Kirby vacuums are.
Old school, old school.
Old school. Oh, but I was absolutely broken, and that's when I came out with my video, uh, that I got scammed. And Lisa, I think you saw that
Mhm.
video, right? And you reached out to me.
Yeah, yeah. That's when I started investigating, doing what you're
Oh.
never supposed to do.
Hmm.
They always tell you, don't get online, don't go looking for information, don't do your research, listen to us because we know more. We've built it.
Hmm.
But when I started looking around, yeah, I found you, found a few other people, and that's when I reached out to you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good deal.
Yeah.
Um, you really feel lost. You really do. But you have to find that validation within yourself. Um,
Mhm.
and that's what I've come to realize is that the only way forward is that you push yourself forward, right? And you fill those holes that have been poked into you, you know. So, MLMs, okay. Um, Now, what would you say for women, especially, right? That are dealing with either, or that you could tell women that are being targeted by MLMs or just getting out of. What'd you say to them?
Yeah. Well, um, sometimes it's hard for me to separate myself from my husband because we've been together on that for so long. But I would say, actually, Stefan and I talked about this, the guy I did a podcast with,
Mm-hmm.
and he talked about this and he helped me understand, and I believe him. He said women tend to have better discernment than men. They'll see red flags, they'll see things that are off way before we will, a man will. He said it's just how you guys are wired. You'll pick up on stuff. Sometimes we don't.
Mm-hmm.
So we just want to, we want to win. We want to keep going forward. We just want to win. So I think that for me was a big thing. I can remember years ago feeling like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I would point things out to Marlon, my husband, and he He wasn't seeing it. He just wasn't really seeing it. And so as a woman, it's like pay attention to your discernment. There's a reason you're feeling things, there's a reason something feels off. And don't wait like I did to talk about that. I don't care how many Amway fights or doTERRA fights or Sensi fights, or we could name 8,000 different MLM fights, okay? I don't care how many fights you have to have if you're married, have them, talk about it. And when I got online and I started doing the research and I started realizing some of the stuff that you're going to talk about how Amway lobbies and does stuff, I started realizing behind the scenes, this is just a complete racket. Okay. This is not what we think, what we've been told that it is. And so that I would just say as a married person, but as a single woman, I have a hard time addressing that except to say, maybe, I mean, my
Well,
friend Adria, she's not.
what do you think would appeal to you, right, as a woman, right? How do you think that they would target you specifically as a woman, and what do you think really affects you specifically as a woman leaving an MLM?
I
Guess I
mean,
should.
how is it getting out of an MLM or getting into an MLM or
Well, both
both?
both.
Yeah. I think, I feel like how they target a woman to get into an MLM is it's always a side hustle. Like, you're gonna,
Mm-hmm.
you want to, maybe you just had a baby. And again, they attack those vulnerable people. I know for me, I had no family growing up. I had a really crazy dysfunctional family. So when I got introduced to
Mm-hmm.
the business, I saw all this love bombing and all this crap that I thought was real. I thought, oh my God, I found a family that I've never had. So there's that. It's paying attention to a woman's vulnerabilities. Like if you're lonely, you just went through a divorce, you just had a baby, you don't have a lot of friends. It could be a lot of those things, and they will absolutely play on that to get you in. And once you're in and you decide I want to get out, for myself, there is no easy way to get out. You just have to leave. And it might even mean you have to block your upline, block the
Mm-hmm.
people who've been helping you, your coaches. And, that's what I had to do because they
Mm-hmm.
went crazy on me. They started calling me an imposter and all kinds of weird stuff. I'm like, you guys are blocked. There won't be any contact with you any longer.
Mm-mm.
So I think that's it too, is realizing they're capable of a lot of manipulation to get, if you're wanting to get out or in. And if you feel those icky feelings, pay attention to them. I didn't. I didn't. I kept thinking I'm the one with the problem. Well, I'm negative, or I'm not, because they told you that. You're negative if you feel this is wrong, or you're the one with the problem, and you need to put our brains in your brains until you get free. And then when you get free, you can put your own brain back in your head. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's flipping cult. That's like a
Oh yeah,
cult.
it is. It
So,
is.
but I didn't see that. So I think another thing is like getting really good at understanding cult tactics as a woman and as a man, understanding this is cult like behavior, and you need to
Mm-hmm.
understand, do some research on what cults do and how they manipulate you.
Oh yeah, big time, Christopher. I've worked for MLMs and telemarketing. Anytime they start team building exercise and training is your sign to get out. That's a good point.
Exactly.
That's a really
That's
good
right.
point. That's a really good point. And then Christopher also said Scientology of consumer goods. Yeah, that's that's pretty accurate. That's pretty
Yeah.
accurate. Oh yeah, yeah. It's always one thing that I've noticed, um, especially since leaving Amway, is that it's always training. It's always training.
Oh,
Every single time. Every single time they try to
nonstop.
introduce people, new people into the cult, they'll always say, "Oh, hey, um, you know, uh, you're welcome to our show here," which is in the beginning, and then the second part is training. And you can't go to that. You got to be a part of the business first, and then go to training. And so they kind of get you on the hook there. A mystery that you kind of want to solve, right? You get it, it really intrigues you. You're like, okay, well, I kind of want to see what the training is about, right? And then, because they always play it up in the beginning of the part that you're starting a life, essentially. You're becoming financially free. And then how you do that is in the second part with all the training. And so, but if you're building a business and you're working with people, why is there training anyways? You know? That never really made any sense to me. Because it's more
because they
like,
want you to learn. Because sorry, but I want to say this real quick.
yeah, go for it.
So yeah, because they want you to understand how to manipulate people. And
Hmm.
that's where you're trained to do that, is all those stupid meetings, all those stupid audios, all those stupid books.
Yeah, it
It's just
doesn't
what
teach you
Christopher said.
anything
You know,
about business.
yeah,
Doesn't teach you anything about business. It's all
never
feelings,
did.
emotions, spirituality. It's all of that. It's never accounting. It's never um figuring out what your profits of margin are, how to adjust, when it comes to marketing, all that stuff. It's never stuff that could actually help you. you know. So, but
Yeah.
guys, also make sure, as we're talking here, to ask questions. Okay.
Wow.
If you guys happen to have anything that you would really like to know, I will point you guys to Lysa, because Lysa definitely knows what she's talking about. I was only in for a couple of months, but okay, Chris, I had one interview from a newspaper ad. Okay. It was a door to door sales with a van full of people dropped off in different towns. That's interesting. I walked out after 5 minutes.
Good.
Well, you had no idea where that van is going to. So listen, guys. If someone rolls up with a van, okay, you're a mark, okay. You're a mark, okay.
Well,
That's what our parents taught us. Okay, we gotta listen to that. Okay, so but let's see, MLMs. Oh, of course we know Amway to be the oldest MLM out there, right? After it had
that's the
acquired,
mothership.
exactly,
It's the
exactly.
mothership.
I had no idea that Amway also had control over, Altacore. Why does Amway have these different names? You know,
Mhm.
that's another thing to think about too. Is that when they bring you into these meetings, it's never, oh, this is Amway. We work for Amway. It's never that. It's never that. It's always, oh well, we work for people, right? They mislead you with information, or they mislead you through omission, right? And then later on, when you get more familiar with it, is then when they tell you, right? Because at that point, you're a little bit more hooked. See, Chris, only way they trick me is with candy in a van. Yeah, that's how they get me too. Um, that's how they get me too. But yeah, it's never, is that what they did with you when they got you in? Is that they never told you what it was from the start until you got into it?
Well, when I got in, obviously Marlon was already in it, but we were always taught, don't tell people it's Amway until
Mm-hmm. Yep.
you've taken them through a process. Like, then you're
Yep.
gonna, and then you're sitting there on pins and needles the night that they're gonna find out at the board plan, and your upline's up there drawing the plan on the whiteboard, and then they're gonna find out that it's Amway. You're sitting there in your seat that night going, "Oh, here comes the Amway word. What are they gonna do?" It's
Mm-hmm.
so nerve wracking.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
but that's what we were taught to do, and we just thought, go. We were always taught the uncomfortable means you're going diamond. The being uncomfortable means you're building it. You're doing what others aren't willing to do. But this is the stuff we were taught. And we were
Mm-hmm.
also taught what you were saying a second ago about just don't, you work for yourself. You don't work for Amway. If Amway goes tits up, we're just going to find another company that'll do this for us. That's what Worldwide would teach.
Oh.
We'll just find a new company that we can sell products with. So you don't work for Amway, you work for yourself, and that's such a lie,
Mm-hmm.
because you do work for Amway. You are just a contractor. That's all you are. You don't own anything. You have no control over the products. You have no
Mm-hmm.
control over the prices of the products. You have no control over what's, they decide to take off the market, put on the market. You have no control over any of that. You're just taught to sell it and to use it, mostly use it, and register your sales under yourself. It's just, it's all just crap. How's that? What's Adria saying here? How are your friends?
Adria, Yeah, if you want to go ahead and read it, go ahead.
How are your friendships with other MLMs that are still in the business? Okay, yeah, I see what she's asking. Um, that's a sad thing. We have a few. In fact, I just had lunch with a gal last week who also just left the business. She was in our same uplines business, crossline, what it would be called.
Hmm.
Not our business, but our same upline crossline from us. So she would be like a cousin. Okay.
Hmm.
She just got out in May, I found out, and she was a dear friend. So we've maintained friendships. But other than that, not one. And I think the reason why is because our entire uplines business that we were close to, they were all Mormon. Um, you want to be Mormon, go ahead. That's not none of my business. But
Hmm.
because they were all Mormon, they were all very united, and there's only like two or three of us in his entire business, which was a large business. There were diamonds at one time, lost their business, and it went down to where there were emeralds, which would be considered, halfway to diamond, I'll say, for those that don't know. But anyway, they're all Mormon. Sent Mormons to my door, in fact, to try to get us to become Mormons. And I see now the faith manipulation in that. Because if you can get your entire business to be Mormons, Mormons are very loyal to each other. So if you can build a business based on a Mormon business, who's going to get out of your business? That's how they've hung on. So we just always felt like misfits. So the answer to that, my dear Adria, was not a lot because they were all Mormons. And I grew up Mormon until I was 14. That's not a lot. I don't talk about that a lot, but my family drugged me through that crap till I was 14. So I remember telling my mom, I'm out of here. I'm not going to go to this church again. And I left the Mormon church at 14, but some of the stuff they do is very odd, very weird. And
Well,
sorry if you're
actually,
Mormon,
um,
but
I still have Mormons trying to contact me to join their church. I ran
oh, that's
into I ran
what they do.
into a group over a year ago, I believe, and after some time, I told them no, leave me alone. One of them decided to slide me one of his friends' phone number to me, right? Female, obviously, and I was like, "This isn't happening. Stop, stop." So the thing is that I've done a lot of research into the Mormon religion. But then again, I've done a
Mhm.
lot of research into religion in general. That's why I'm not religious. But um, they absolutely do use religion because it's the easiest to use, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's emotion, right? And people are so
Hmm.
controlled, especially today. They're so captured. It's probably a better term to use, um, by their emotions, and it's easy to manipulate them to get them to believe in something that they may already know is bad for them, but because their God's name is used and attached and labeled, then they will continue to believe that. Um, let's see, Chris. That's the other thing. Overly excited Christians as employers are a red flag. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say just Christians. I would also say anyone that's religious, that's overexcited about getting you into anything, right? That seems like a red
Hmm.
flag is just exactly that. They're trying to extort you. Let's see. Fishwife. Do you wanna read that one, Lisa?
Sure. Seems counterproductive to shun people that leave because they will spread negative reviews. Oh, yeah, 100%. Um, that's part of the whole thing what my upline did when we left and called me an imposter. It's like the minute you start to question them, you're shunned. I mean, you just don't, it's just not allowed. It's just not tolerated. And the faith manipulation that goes on in MLMs is really scary. I would say that too. Just pay attention to that. And that makes me really sad. And I know we've talked about that, Jonah, and some of the struggles you've had with that of just and you don't have to be religious to love God. That's the whole thing. You don't have to be. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there and a lot of groups that use the name of God to get you to listen to them, and and then they connect with your emotions, exactly whatever you might be going through in life. And
False
I just
teachers,
think
false
that,
prophets.
yeah, I mean, it's just, this is what's going on in our society, and it makes me so mad. That almost makes me more mad really than the whole MLM thing, but they're actually tied together, because
Yep.
most MLM that I have found out, and I've done my research and now talking to different people that come from different MLMs and done different podcasts with them, they all say the same thing. The faith manipulation was part of it, and
Hmm.
using God to get you to do a certain thing, to
Hmm.
be a certain way, or to perform a certain way.
Yep.
It's, and the minute you stop doing that, you're shunned. But that's not how God works. That's not the God I know.
Hmm.
I thank God that through all this, I didn't lose my faith and hope in Him. I've lost it in people, 100%. But my relationship with the Lord has always been intact. And I'm so grateful for that. That's
That's
not
good.
ever been compromised because I know Him.
Hmm.
No, these people are idiots, but He's not. So that's what I would say about that.
Right. Right. Well, I mean,
I'm
I
just
think,
sorry
I
for
think,
anybody
I think that's
like that.
probably about the best way that you could put it, for sure. And of course, I have my own opinion on that. People will use religion for any means that they can, right, to accomplish whatever they want, right. And
Hmm. Yep.
it's always that, right? I mean, we see it today um, with Antifa, with the more left leaning people. Same thing with MAGA as well. And then, actually, matter of fact, I live streamed doing the or doing getting into the lore of the Knuckleavy. Um, and what I had got from all that research is that as the Vikings had come to settle the lands, um, there was a mesh of culture, right? And so what they did was they had created the Knuckleavy to unite against one entity, right? Because there needed to be some kind of unification. Elsewise, these two cultures would tear each other apart, right? And so um, that's what I that's what I have come to find out is that people will use religion in whatever time that benefits either the society or the few at the top, right? And that's exactly what's going on with MLMs, is that they will use that to benefit themselves. I mean, we
Yeah, I
look
mean,
at
look what happened in the Dark Ages. I mean, you were not even allowed to read your Bible because that
mm,
was the whole point.
yeah,
The church
that's true,
started that. Like
that's true.
the priests and all that stuff, the
Hmm.
Pope, all that junk. The Bible was chained to the podium, and you were not allowed to look at it or touch it. You were not allowed as a congregation. It was all in Latin and everything anyway, and that's a whole other story. But I'm just telling
Hmm.
you, look at what happened in the Dark Ages. People weren't even allowed to have a Bible until Martin Luther came in and said, "Wait a second here. You all are manipulating people with this whole thing," and that's a whole other discussion for another day. But the point is you're making, I think, is this has been going on for a very long
Oh
time,
yeah,
and we're just now in modern times, and political parties use God,
oh,
businesses
all the
use
time.
God, churches use God, all kinds of people use God. I mean, look at these sick freaks doing this stuff. It's everywhere. You have to have some discernment.
Right. Matter of
100%.
fact, looking into the Charlie situation, and I want to get too political with Charlie here, but I don't know if you've been listening too much to Rob McCoy, but Rob McCoy was
Much, a little bit.
saying that Mikey had blood all over him and all that kind of stuff, and um well, it turns out that that wasn't accurate, and anyone that was questioning that, he was automatically, calling people crazy and everything like that. Um, or ridiculous, I think, is more of what he was saying. I don't think he was saying crazy.
Mhm.
I don't want to put words in his mouth, but what I will say is that he was definitely negative, over people who were looking into it and asking questions, right? And so yeah, you see it everywhere. People will use God, they will use religion, right? Whatever God you pray to, whatever religion you're a part of, for whatever means. And people have been doing this for several thousand years. So,
Mhm.
but that kind of takes us to a little bit of the research that I had done about Amway specifically. Obviously, we know Amway to be one of the oldest religions, and as I was looking at here, I wanted to share some interesting things with you guys. Um, Starting with, let's see. Um, Amway has contributed to. Let me see here. Let me move this here, and then. Oh, okay. All right. Oh wait. Oopsies. I'm losing my mind over here. All right. Okay. And then. All right. So I got you here. Now. Um. For a long time now, Amway specifically has been donating for quite a bit of the Republican side. Now, as you can see here, 96%, 97%, 93, 99, and 100%, right? They've donated for quite a bit, right? And, well, Amway has donated and hired the where is it? Oh, the Stanton Park Group. Okay, they're a lobbying firm. All right. Now, um, Stanton Park Group. Who do they donate to? Oh, as you can see here, Amway has donated $240,000. It looks like a reoccurring thing. It's a little weird, right? So, who do they donate to? Well, there's quite a bit of a list here. Okay, you've got, and all of them are Republicans. You can see, right? So you've got Rob Whitman, you've got Kathy Rogers, all those guys. What's interesting is that, well, these guys aren't just taking money uh, from lobbyists over here in America. Well, they're also taking money from special interests, foreign interests, I should say, better. Rob Whitman has taken almost $100,000 from APAC. It's weird, right? So, if you think these people have your best interest at heart, whether they be Republican or Democrat, then you are sadly mistaken, because they're also donating to the Democrats as well, right? So that's what I wanted to share with you. Oh wait, there's also Betsy DeVos. Okay, and this was back during Trump's first term. And so there's a quote here that I wanted to share with you, because this really made my eyebrows raise. And if you guys don't know who Betsy DeVos is, Lisa, I'm sure you do. Betsy DeVos was married into the DeVos family, who is one of the owners of Amway, and she was also in Trump's education, or she was also in Trump's cabinet as the Secretary of Education, right? And there was a quote that I saw from Trump saying that she was a brilliant Oh, here we go. A brilliant and passionate education advocate. So, why is it that someone who is from Amway is the Secretary of Education, right? Who we know to be very manipulative, right? Why is that the case? So, something to look into. Something to look into. And obviously, I don't think she returned for Trump's second term, but something that I thought was incredibly interesting. So let's go ahead and bring this back over and get you back up here. All right.
She's Rich DeVos's son's wife. So Rich DeVos, Jay Van Andel, they're the founders of Amway.
Mm-hmm.
They've both passed on, but now their kids took over the business. So Betsy DeVos is the wife of one of the sons,
Mm-hmm.
but now run Amway.
Mm-hmm.
So all I can say, my own research, and again, I'm not out here to spread any kind of crap. I'm just here to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Their tentacles run very deep.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm a Republican. That's how I lean. Okay. I tend to lean conservative.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, here's the thing. When I was growing up, the Democrats were like us now. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
these crazy left nut jobs that we see going on, that's not the Democrats I remember growing up with. We all used to kind of be pretty much the same. You'd just be lean a little bit more towards conservative on taxes or less government. That's where I stand.
Yeah.
So we don't need to get into, what each political party stands for, because we pretty much know. But what I'm saying here with the Amway situation is they do tend to lean into that. They lobby for that. And this is how they stay legal, by the way. They put in hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars into camps, we'll just say, that will keep them in business, because it's all about money, isn't everything? And, their whole thing was, if you can move us and sell a product, and you're not just using the product yourselves, but you're actually selling products, well, then it's not really an illegal pyramid. So they fly under the radar by twisting things just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a whole other discussion. But, anybody who's trying to wanting to get in an MLM or to get out of an MLM, this is the kind of research you have to do. What I've done, what Jonah has done, you've got to dig, because the tentacles of these organizations run really deep, and especially Amway. That's the mothership. Every single MLM that is in existence came from that concept.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The whole concept of multi-level marketing was born with Amway. Neutralite kind of had a foundation. And then Amway had basically built upon that and perfected it, essentially. Hugo, thanks for joining, man. Glad to have you here.
Oh, Hugo!
Both they donate large
Hugo.
amounts of political they donate large amounts to political parties. They do, and it's bipartisan. It's absolutely bipartisan.
Hugo, I think this is the Hugo that I've made friends with recently. He was in Worldwide. Is that you, Hugo? Am I got the right Hugo?
I was actually talking with Hugo not too long ago. Yeah. Hey, Nathan Hamburger, how you doing, buddy? Hey, listen, stick around for this conversation, okay? I understand it's not my gaming content, but stick around, because this may very well affect you as well, because they absolutely do go after the young. So hopefully this can help you out, buddy.
Yeah.
Good to see you again too, buddy. I'm glad to have you here. Any way to help. But a little bit of a sidebar here. And this actually kind of goes back to Charlie. September 10th. Were you aware that the Republican majority voted to seal the Epstein files? Are you aware of that?
I was, and I just I don't know. I mean, I know you've done some deep dives on this, and I've followed some people, like, I've told you about George Webb, who my best Carrie, she's the one who, followed him for years, and she told me about George Webb. That guy, man, he digs up some stuff. I'm like, I can't even understand what he's saying half the time. But all I can say is this has seemed weird since the day it happened. And now you see, and I don't want to be one of those people. I really don't want to be one of those people that just see what's on the internet and form an opinion. I'm just saying, though, my discernment again tells me something's off with this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it is. It is.
I mean, something's off. Even the way Erica Kirk acts is sometimes a little bit like, what's up with this? Why is she so in the spotlight all of a sudden?
Well, did you see her speech not too long ago?
Yeah, why did she show up in her tight leather pants and like
Not just that,
I don't know.
but
It's like what
she also said
was
that
off?
that Charlie will never be replaced, but she sees similarities in JD.
I know. I don't know. I just feel like something's funky. I don't know. God forgive me if I'm wrong. Please forgive me if I'm wrong.
I don't think we are though. I don't
It
think we are.
seems a little off.
That
Maybe
doesn't seem.
others feel this way, but
Yeah, that it just doesn't seem like a wife that's grieving. You know.
exactly. I just feel like the whole thing from her hands going down the coffin and the whole I don't know. It all just started getting really weird like day 3.
Yeah, it was a lot of people pointed that out, especially widows. Widows had pointed that out, and I remember.
I mean, I know how I would feel if my husband passed. There's no way I'm putting his casket on the internet.
Mhm.
Now, with that said, I have had people say, and even my friends have said, that he was killed so publicly that maybe she felt like he needed to be said goodbye so publicly. Okay, I get some of that. But it just seems like super private to me to be doing that. Like, what was your point? What is your point to all that? Anyway, we're probably getting off on a whole other subject. Here
Yeah,
we
yeah.
go. Carrie,
Let's get back to it.
Carrie's chiming in.
We can talk about this on another stream.
At what point do people of faith and worldwide realize that using manipulation and half truths contradicts their faith? How do you explain that away? So true.
Yeah.
The whole thing is they don't. There's cognitive dissonance there.
Logic.
When you try to call them out on that, you get called an imposter. There was my experience.
Hmm.
When you try to call them out on their crap, you're shunned. You're no longer, you left the cult. I mean, really, it's like any cult. Once the person that leaves the cult, you're the bad guy. And I would love to be a fly on the wall right now to hear what's being said about me and Marlon in those meetings, in those rooms, because we were always at a board plan where they show the business. Every 2 weeks, your upline was showing the board plan. Right. And we were in the room with our suit and our dress on and playing the part and laughing at his stupid, stupid ass jokes over and over again to try to, build team camaraderie and all this stuff. I would love to be a fly on the wall and see what they're saying right now.
Oh,
So,
behind closed doors, absolutely,
how
absolutely.
about this? I know for a fact it's not good because I watched them talk about other people that left the business. Why can't we just be happy when here's the thing I don't understand. If someone reaches out, in fact, my best friend just said this to me the other day. She goes, anytime you have to explain yourself to another adult as to why you're making a different decision, red flag. It's like, why wouldn't you just wish them the best? But that's not how MLMs work. If you leave the team, if you leave the organization, whatever it is, you are deemed an outcast and you're going to be treated as such and talked about as such.
Hmm.
That's how it is, folks.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
That's just the way they roll.
Oh yeah. And a lot of times they'll even attack you publicly.
Oh, 100%.
A lot
Yep.
of times they will. I remember I was talking with Scott or Tex, or
Yeah.
I should say Scott.
Yes.
Scott Johnson. Yeah, I was talking with him a while ago. I haven't really heard a whole lot from him since, but I hope he's doing fine. But I, he was cautioning me to be careful, right, when it comes to talking about MLMs. And well, I'm not saying anything wrong, you know.
Hmm.
But when you point things out, you will, especially if you're growing your following, right? If you have a bigger following, then they will absolutely do whatever they can to silence that voice, right? Of reason, voice of logic, voice of truth. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hmm. Hmm.
let's see. Fishwife, you go ahead and read that, Lisa.
The condition of one's soul should supersede profits. 100%. 100%.
Hmm.
And this is where I just want to, whoever's watching this now, who's going to see it afterwards, doing what I did, looking for somebody, that wants to speaking out, which Jonah's channel has done that. Um, the faith manipulation, I'm so sorry for anybody who's been through that. because that has caused a lot of people to turn away from God and to think that that's the norm, and it's not. This is not the norm. Okay, this is a dysfunctional situation going on with these groups of people and how they manipulate you with religion, God, faith. We were always taught the prosperity gospel: get what you speak. God's
Mm-hmm.
going to honor. And we were taught for years: get what you speak. And if you speak wealth, and if you speak health, and if you speak this, if you speak that, you're going to get it. God's going to honor that.
Mm-hmm.
That is serious faith manipulation. That's
Mm-hmm.
not how
Big
God
time.
works at all. And I always felt icky about that. I never participated in that. But and I do believe God wants good things for us. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that he doesn't want good things for his kids, okay? But we don't get to use God's name to get what we want and get our Mercedes and get our diamond rings that they'd flash around and all this junk. This is the stuff that really upsets me is when they use faith to um and here's something else too. You got to remember something. These people, the big pins in the business. Now, I just want to say this because most people in these businesses are really nice, sweet, good people that have just been sucked into the system. Okay. Most of them are good people, but the bigger pins that have built the business to a certain level and they've retired on that income, say, and they've changed their entire lifestyle around that, right? Like they quit their jobs. Everything was sold out. Let's just use Amway for instance, because that's what I was in. Everything's in the Amway bucket now. There is no back door. There is nothing else but this. What choice do they have but to keep it going? They've quit their jobs, some of them for decades. I watch my upline do that. I watch them scramble to keep their business together because they don't work outside of their Amway business. And if that falls apart, they're homeless. It's like,
Well, I mean, they would become
you
homeless
know,
anyways because you're just losing. I don't see you really making a profit unless you are selling your own CDs, your own books. But if you're doing that, you're already a part of the game, right? And you're already manipulating people. You already understand what's going on, what's actually going on. You know?
yeah, that's the tool scam that Scott talks about. And I was on his show a couple times. I don't know if you heard that or not,
Yeah.
my interview with him. But
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
he
I'm well aware.
one
Yeah.
who's investigated, and I know you know all that. He's investigated all that tool scam stuff, and that's the part that began to be really shocking to me to realize. No wonder they want you on all these apps and on the CDs and going to the functions and selling your soul basically to this worldwide system or LTD or whatever line of affiliation we're attached to. That's what they want you to do because if they lose that control over you, you'll quit just like I did. You'll start to go, something's weird here. When you stop listening and you stop going and you pull back, your brain will come back. So they have to constantly keep you in the game with all that stuff and all those tools. Well, they make money off of all of that.
Oh yeah,
So
they do big
the
time.
whole thing is just, yeah. I mean, you could just go on and on about what MLMs are. And I met some great people, met some wonderful people. But here's the thing now, just segueing maybe into a little bit of Oregon is, um, we can go back to whatever you want. But I would say for me, Jonah, I've noticed since I've gotten out of the business, I now have my whole life is opened up to do other things that I want to do, other
Mhm.
causes that I believe in. And I recently just joined my party's, my local county elections group of people who basically want to get voting integrity back in Oregon. Oregon has never had a Republican governor since the 80s. There's
Mm.
something wrong with that.
Mhm.
We have mail-in voting in this state, and they
Mhm.
control that a lot by the machines and all that stuff. There's an algorithm. I found out in my first meeting some of the votes aren't even counted. Some of them are thrown out. There's a certain percentage. I don't understand all of it yet, but I'm starting to get involved in a little bit of on a state level and my county level to figure out what's going on because now I have time.
Well, if you
That's
look
another thing.
into what happened with the 2020 election,
Yeah.
you quickly realize that votes, certain votes were being dumped, certain votes were being counted, certain things were happening, water was breaking, boards were being put up, um, certain totes were being pulled out from under tables.
Oh yeah.
A lot of sketchy. Matter of fact, there was also a story of someone who was smuggling ballots across Canadian borders, or across the Canadian border. Someone got arrested because of that. And then another
Mhm.
person, I believe, in California got arrested because they had ballots illegally, right? They had ballots illegally, right?
Mhm.
And you also look at data, or the data of the votes being counted in, right? You would suspect that when all of these ballots were being counted, that were being mailed in, would gradually increase, right, as time went on for both parties, right, Trump and Biden. However, that's not what we saw. 3 o'clock in the morning, we we know that, we saw that, right, and most of them were uh, a vote for Biden. Biden is apparently the most popular president there ever was, more popular than Obama, right? I think he got 81,000 votes, right? I think it was 81,000 votes he got. Over Obama's, what, 78, 79,000, something like that. But completely blew Obama out of the water, apparently. Um, and then people who were questioning was constantly attacked, mocked, smeared, right? There are all kinds of campaigns against the people who were just speaking out about it, right? And then
Mhm.
not to mention, the YouTubers during that time that were also talking about it were getting censored heavily, right? And so you had all of that stuff going on. But election
Yeah.
integrity, that's, I don't think we're ever really going to have that, unless we go back to paper, actual paper ballots, because
Mhm.
there's too much
Mhm.
stuff that can happen digitally, right? um, with those ballots, all kinds of manipulations can happen. I saw people's votes were being switched, right, as they were putting it into the machine, right? And I think, um,
Mhm.
with enough attention on that, that kind of, was quieted away at some point, right? Swept under the rug. But um, you know, you have there are things, illegals have been caught voting. Um, People who have been dead for decades have apparently voted. You have all kinds of stuff, and digital voting gives too much of an opportunity for that to happen. So um, it has to be a bipartisan thing. But then again, both parties rig things in a way to where, anything outside. I don't know if were paying much attention to Joe Jorgensen, that was running as the independent for 2020. But she didn't even make it to
Mhm.
the debate stage because you had to make a certain percentage point, right, to just
Yeah.
debate. And I think that's incredibly, um, I don't want to say fraudulent, but I think that's incredibly discriminatory, for sure. Um,
Yeah, we have that same thing here in Oregon. If you aren't part of, you know, those two parties, you just don't stand a chance. And
mhm.
we've got stuff going on over here, and we have for some time. And my girlfriends from Oregon on here and stuff, they can say stuff too. They know. I mean, we've got our governor right now trying to pass this $4 billion tax bill without even voting on it. This is the crap that's going on. It's going on everywhere, but it's definitely going on in the deep blue states. And they
Mm.
just think they can get away with this stuff. And you got to be diligent. I mean, here's the problem I see. People have been complacent for too long. You've got a certain sect of the population that won't vote. They just don't vote. They don't care. They gave up. And I'm trying to do my part now to I really want to save our state. I love Oregon. Oregon's a beautiful place. When I grew up here in the 70s and 80s, way back in the day, it wasn't like this. This was not how it was. Used to be a great place to raise your families. But now we've got these, oligarchs that have come in here, and our leadership is absolutely insane, the stuff that they do. They just think they can do anything they want. And she's trying to pass this bill without even getting a vote. So we're literally in the state of Oregon right now. She's going to push it out and not sign it until November 12th. So then we have literally till the 1st of January to get 100,000 signatures so that it can actually go on the ballot like it should. If this woman really thought, our governor, Tina Kotex, I call her, if she really thought that this bill, the citizens wanted it, then why would she be pushing it out? Why wouldn't she just sign it with happiness and go, oh, everybody wants this? She does that because she knows we don't want it, and she's trying to push it through. Because
Hmm.
this is what the state of Oregon's famous for. They funnel money into all these fake freaking projects that don't benefit Oregonians at all. So there's a lot of problems here in our state, but we have a lot of people since Charlie Kirk was killed, I'll say that have definitely said, we're done. We're going to stand up. And I'm one of them. I decided to get involved. And because
Good.
I'm not doing the Amway thing anymore, I feel like I can now. I actually have time. I'm not being manipulated by this thing over here. And it feels really good because now maybe I can actually do something of service instead of just being stuck in a stupid MLM that's getting anybody nowhere. So there's that thought too.
Well, just as I was talking with Hugo um, yesterday, there's no such thing as a waste of time. Okay. Actually, it's only a waste of time if you don't learn anything from it, right? And
True.
we have this
True.
perception when we go through something traumatic or negative that we see it that way, right? We see it as a waste of time. But the thing is, through your mistakes, you learn from them, right? Hopefully that's the case. You learn from them, and you can then serve yourself, right, by adapting accordingly, right? And you could
Yeah.
also serve someone else and protecting them from making the same mistakes that you have made, you know? So it's never really a waste of time because think of all the people that you have already helped by stepping up, right? Talking with XIBO, talking with Julie, talking with me, talking with, whoever, right? Um, you're helping so many thousands, so many more thousands of people, right? Than you have, than you could have ever manipulated, you know? And
Mhm.
that's something to really talk about too there. Um, but
That's good. Thanks, Jonah. That's good.
yeah, I mean, I'm just try think about things from all kinds of different perspectives, right? And you'll really begin to be like, oh wow, maybe I should have, really thought about things differently, and that's how you can change the world. And um, that's something that really needs to happen. This country needs to change, right? This country needs to change 100%. And the you said you were talking about the governor. As I was watching Nick Shirley, as when he went down to Portland, the governor was actually marching with the Antifas or the Antifas, the Antifa people,
Mhm.
and she would
Mhm.
not answer anything. Right? She was asked a question, wouldn't answer anything. So, um, didn't see her out there, trying to stop people from pointing lasers at helicopter pilots. You didn't see her out there stopping people from literally crowding a woman's car, beating on the car and scaring her half to death, right? Blocking roadways. You didn't see her out there trying to stop that. No, 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 no. You saw
No.
her out there marching, doing what all bureaucrats do and putting on a face for people, right? And unfortunately for um the I'm just gonna say it, the stupid people, because well, I mean, maybe I should take that back. Maybe it's not just it's not now some
Ignorant.
what
Ignorant.
well, I mean it's a combination of both ignorant and stupid people. Okay,
Mhm.
because people could absolutely know that um, some of their party members are bad, but they will still vote blue no matter who, right? That phrase just in itself is absolutely stupid,
Mhm.
right? Um, but then you also have people who have also been led astray, right? Just like how they were in an MLM, right? It's all the same thing. Cults. It's all the same thing, you know. And I'm glad you're getting involved. I really am. More people need to get involved because uh, I've come to realize. I know I've been saying that a lot, but I've come to realize that voting is not going to get us out of the mess that we're in. Right. We have to do. Um, we have to take action like Brandon Herrera, right, where he is taking positions away from Tony Gonzalez, who is taking money from foreign interests, right? Um, and not putting Americans first, or actually, matter of fact, putting Americans last, right? And that's the problem with the majority of our government, is that America is always last. And then we wonder why we have potholes in our streets, why our teachers are starving, but then, our government is bailing out Argentina. You know, I don't know if you heard about that, but
Yeah, this is the whole problem. Is just government's gotten just way too big
mm-hmm,
everywhere in the
mm-hmm,
states, on a national level, and that's the problem. And I was reading something the day that was saying, I don't remember the exact numbers, but you'll get it. Is that most governments, civilizations, whatever you want to call it, don't make it past maybe 200 and some plus years
500
without
years.
500. Somewhere I read 200 something.
Rome was made the example of the life of an empire. An empires typically last around 500 years, if that. So go ahead.
Yeah. So whatever it was, I mean, I'm sure there's different things out there, but I just feel like, I mean, I'm in my 50s, so I can look back and see how I grew up in the 70s and 80s. It was very different than what I'm seeing now. I'm not saying it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
By no means it wasn't. We had the Vietnam War then, and all this other crap was going on. There was
Oh
other
yeah.
stuff going on, but there's always been stuff going on since the beginning of time. But there's been a cultural shift in the last, I'd say the last 20 years of my life. I remember when my kids were in school. I thank God they graduated and left when they did. And my girlfriends, their kids, same kind of thing. They're out of school, but we were in that phase of life where it was like things were starting to get a little too progressive, starting to get a little bit too leaning towards weird stuff that we're seeing
Mm.
now. And I would be the one, I would be the parent that would show up at the school and say, "Oh no, no. You're not going to you're not going to force my child to do that, whatever it might have been." I was very active in my kids' schooling and all that different stuff.
Yeah.
But there's been a cultural shift for sure, a societal shift that this is different. This whole thing, and I'm sure the internet and social media, that does not help.
Mm-hmm.
That does not help at all. Everyone's got their opinions, they're all throwing it out there. Most of it's garbage. And I look at my state and I think, I know that I can't change the world or anything like that, but I can try to do my part. And I see, like you were saying about the governor doing that stuff, she has not one bit of care for the citizens that live here. She doesn't care about any of
Mm-mm.
that. She has
No.
an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
She's fixed. She's in there. She was put in there by design. And this woman she makes my skin crawl, actually. I just can't stand this woman. So anyway, we have a new gal. It's like, and here's another thing. Where's the men? Like, why do we have women?
I always say that. That's one thing I
I
always touch
just
on.
don't. And honestly, I'm not. Women have. How do I say this? Well, I just have to be honest. Women have a role. Okay. It's important. It's equally important as a man, but
Mm-hmm.
it's different.
It is.
Okay. I don't feel personally, this is my personal beliefs. I might piss some people off, but I'm on here talking and this is my beliefs. I feel that no woman should run a country run a state or be in that role. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I just think that women tend to, I think men are just more built for that. I think men are built a different way than we are, and that they should be presidents and that they should be heads of countries and all this different stuff. That's just my opinion. Maybe that's the conservative in me coming out.
Well,
But
what I
I
would
just
add
don't
to
understand
that,
where the men are. It's like we've got these women over here in Oregon that are trying to run for governor. It's like we haven't had a man. Like, where's the men? Real men, not ones wearing skinny jeans and lipstick.
hey, that's a personal attack.
We've got a lot of gays over here. And again, not saying there's anything wrong if that's how you want to live your life.
Hmm.
There's an agenda that they're pushing here. And this transgender stuff's out of control over here.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm just going to
Yeah.
throw that in there.
Yeah. Well, it's through all of the policies, and I mean allowing young boys into girls' locker rooms and vice versa, where too much opportunity could happen. That's a
Mm-hmm.
problem, right? That is a that's completely normal to say, right? That is absolutely reasonable to say. It's not like we're it's not like we're attacking people's rights. Matter of fact, we're trying to defend people's rights.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. You can do whatever you want. We live in a free country. That's the beauty of it. But when you push your agenda onto me or my kids, or like my girlfriend says here, my grandkids, some of the stuff she tells me, the horror stories that she tells me about what they're trying to push on her grandkids now in school. That 5-year-olds should be allowed to masturbate and discover their sexuality in kindergarten. Are you freaking kidding me? This is the shit that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's evil, it's sick, and it's twisted. And we're fighting that over here in Oregon to some degree. There's a whole lot of us, there's a whole lot of me's here, but the me's got to step up and the me's have got to get involved. And that's why I made a choice. I'm going to get involved on my county level, and I'm going to start seeing what I can do. Something. I can't change everything tomorrow, but I can at least be one little voice and one little somebody over here saying no to this garbage.
Yeah, and that's absolutely good. You should be doing that. But to the men, um, here I've always said this: men are the ones who build, maintain, and destroy societies. Right? We are
Yeah.
responsible for everything that happens, and the reason for feminism that has been a a blight on society from the start. Um, all of that is our responsibility. We got to take accountability for that, right? And
Yeah.
men have been weakened so much, right? Conditioned so much, right? Through the Disney mentality, through, of course,
Yeah.
feminism and all of these other things, policies even that men are turning away. They're just giving up in society, and how
Mhm.
can you really blame them?
No, and that's why the
I
women are
can't.
rising up. That's why the women are rising up, and I get that. They're rising up because men are being pussies.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry, but that's
yeah.
what I see. Now, I'm not saying all men are like that. There's some great men out there. I'm married to one of them.
Hmm.
This man has never done me wrong. He's always gone up and went out and earned a living and taken care of his family, and
Hmm.
he's strong. Okay, but I mean, even my girlfriends and friends I have that are single that are dating right now. They're trying. Here's an example: trying to even find a decent guy to date. You know how many stories I hear from my friends? It's like they're all just absolute wimps. I don't know what the heck's going on, but I feel like as a society, if we don't have strong men that understand what being a man's role is about,
Hmm. Yeah.
how are we supposed to protect our country? How are we supposed to do? I mean, I thank God that Pete Hegseth at least stood up sometime back and said, "We're getting rid of this, men dressed up like women in the military thing." He did. That's great. That's a start,
It's a good
because I
start.
don't think that transgenders should be in the military. I just don't.
Well, I
Our
mean, yeah.
military is to protect our country.
Hmm. And here's the thing:
Anyway,
if you are confused about who you are,
yeah.
then why should you be given a rifle? You know.
Absolutely.
You know,
100%.
to
We're
go
mentally
fight on a
ill.
to go fight on the front line should we get into a war.
You have my vote when you run for governor, Lisa.
But
Masculinity is not toxic.
it's
Amen,
not.
sister. Yeah,
Masculinity is the best thing that could ever happen to women because masculinity
absolutely.
keeps you safe,
There
keeps
you
you safe.
go.
But it's
Yep.
and it's by design, right? I remember looking into ancient cultures, and I remember coming across this information, and I could be wrong, but the information that I came across is that when Rome fought its opposition, whenever it conquered other countries, other nations, other city states, what it would do is it would remove all of the men or most of the men, so that the children would be raised by the women, right? So that
Makes sense.
so that if you here's the thing, because they understood that if you destroy the men, you destroy
Yep.
nations, right? Because
Mhm.
it's always been the men that have defended everyone, and so far men have been weakened. um, and I do think that there is a good portion of men that are waking up slowly but surely, and I think there are men such as myself who are starting to become more active, more involved, and they should, right? Um, if I didn't have the financial situation that I did or that I have now, I would be out there campaigning myself, right? Um, but the only thing I can, well, not the only thing, but the biggest thing that I can do right now is to um, use my platforms and and voice my my concerns. Just make a voice, right? Um, but
And you're
it
doing that. See, you're doing that. You're using what your talents and your abilities to say something.
yeah.
Not just sitting there. You're trying to help.
Hmm. Exactly. Um, and more men really need to do that. You know, it's the response. It's our responsibility to not let our women do what we are supposed to do, right? Um,
Yeah.
Now, personal accountability, yes, right. Personal accountability. Um, Women keep voting left, men keep voting right, and it's led to this opposition between the two, and because of that, our birth rate is suffering. Um, but we have to understand, and this is why I harp on feminism so much. We have to understand that one, feminism was co-opted by the CIA. So um, Gloria Steinem was a prior CIA operative. Then she became a very prominent second, or she became a very prominent voice for the second wave of feminism, which was, as we know, the sexual liberation movement, right, where they were pushing contraceptives. And um, if you lead if you read the literature from early feminism, I'm talking like late 1800s, you'll begin to see that very quickly the things that these pro suffrage women were talking about was superiority, was female supremacy. It had nothing to do with equality, not at all. If that was the case, why then were they threatening um, to bomb cathedrals? Why were they setting places on fire? Why were they smashing local businesses? Why were they attacking police officers while they were supposed to be protesting, parading in the streets? Right? Um, you have all of these different things,
Immaculated.
but um, well, I mean, yeah, essentially, because they've been shaped, right? They've been shaped to fit.
Immaculated. You mean demasculated?
Yeah, you mean emasculated? I mean, for sure, men have been emasculated. Absolutely. We've been
Like that,
shaped.
immaculated. It's good.
We've been cleaned. We have been cleaned.
There you go.
We are sparkling. Do you see? You see how
It's true.
sparkling that
Okay, so
smile is?
she's an example. See, my girlfriend Adria, she's an example. She's
Mm-hmm.
a great woman who's been out there. Been in her own business for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say at least 30 years since I've known her. I mean, I've known her for 35. So
Yeah.
she's always been self-employed, you know, been through the man thing. And she's always telling me, you can't find any decent guys out here. They're all idiots.
Yeah.
And she's a beautiful woman. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, and it's not just looks. I'm not saying it's just she's a capable functioning woman is what I'm saying. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
she's, you know, stepped out of Walmart in her pajamas and trying to look for a decent guy. She should be attracting someone who we're talking about here. But
Right.
that's what I'm saying is this society we're in is like, it seems like men are either really feminine and they're not sure, am I straight? Am I gay? I mean, I know we're on a whole other conversation here, but this is what goes on in our state. So back to the, you know,
It's
talking about
the
Oregon.
it's the mental. Oh, I mean, this affects the whole nation. So I think it's
Yeah,
something
this
that we
affects
should
the whole
talk
nation,
about.
but living in Oregon,
You
we
just
are
you
a
just see it
very,
more. You just see it more in more liberal places.
yeah,
And
not so much
there's a
where
reason for
we,
that. There's a reason
yeah,
for that.
but it's downtown Multnomah County. Multnomah County is where our issue is in the state of Oregon.
Okay.
I mean, we have people that do naked bike rides in Multnomah. We have a
I saw
yearly
that.
naked. It's like,
Ugh.
how embarrassing. Okay, we just have a lot of this stuff going on where it's like we attract a lot of really twisted people over here. There's a bumper sticker out that says "Keep Portland Weird." Well, I want to make it unweird. I want to try to get
I
us back
think
to some
most people here in
grassroots
America would want to make just America in general unweird.
unweird.
Um.
Yeah, yeah,
So
100%.
yes, Lisa.
Is
Lisa is a good friend of mine. I love her dearly. I love all of you dearly. So, um, but yeah.
Right.
So, um, we there's this effort to confuse, warp the minds of the youth, right? Whether
Oh,
man or woman, right? If you can confuse someone, you know, if you can confuse someone over their identity, then you can shape their
mhm,
identity, right?
mhm.
And then you can manipulate people to do whatever, right? And our media, our government, foreign governments, they all have a hand in shaping and warping, you know, all of these impressionable minds, right? And um, it's only because of people who are standing like the YouTuber that got me into YouTube was Bo Refik over on Legion of Men. He's got some good stuff. And um, after listening to, or actually after watching him for quite some time, I believe a year or two, I finally got fed up with just leaving comments on a video or just watching a video here and there. I'd much rather make my own videos, right? Build my own following and then run for office that way. So, uh, you know, but men really have to step up, you know. And I think um, it's men are so beaten down today that yeah, it's really hard to convince men to get back up and keep trying. Not for anyone that doesn't like them, right? But for the people that really need the men to step up, right? That's that's why I say, you know, I understand the black pill, right? But
Yeah.
I don't agree with it because you can't give up on society, because if you do that, right, then you're giving up on everyone, right? And so, you know, we have to be very careful with that. We have to lift men up, and I think in these different echo chambers, right, where more talks amongst men I think is changing ever so slightly, but I think it is changing.
Yeah, there definitely seems to be a, I can feel it too. Like it seems like this transgender stuff is kind of starting to make its way out. And I'm so grateful for that
Yeah.
because I've always felt like, um, I mean, honestly, in my opinion, these people need mental help. There's mental illness going on.
Hmm.
Okay. There's mental illness going on with someone who, bless their heart, my heart breaks for, say, a woman that was born and thinks she's a man. I think there's some physical and mental issues. In fact, I remember Charlie Kirk. There was, and this is what he tried to do. He tried to talk to the youth. That's the whole point of him going to the colleges, was to, because he understood our youth is being attacked. Because if you can get the youth in the colleges and the high schools and all this stuff to be infiltrated with this, group think, your next generation, this this stuff we're talking about's gone. There's an agenda here. It is obvious there's an agenda. There was an agenda through COVID. There's an agenda through this transgender movement. When President Biden had freaking men in bikinis running around the White House lawn last summer. I mean, I don't know if you saw that. But it was like,
Um,
you've got
I
some kind
definitely
of pride event.
saw quite. I definitely saw quite a bit of that actually.
When have we ever
Yeah.
seen our president of this country have men in bikinis? I mean, I hate to laugh. It's kind of funny, but it's actually really sad. It's like, let's just go ahead and embrace this stuff, guys. Be who you are and pride and all this stuff. It seems like it's starting to kind of shift out of that now, I hope,
Well, people are
because
getting tired. Just like people were getting tired of Christians, shoving their religion down people's throats. So are people getting tired of this other religion that people were shoving down their throats, right? It's the thing is, and this is something that Bo talks about too.
ladies
Something
lib.
that I agree with is that as we became more advanced scientifically as a society, um, we didn't replace the main religion with anything, right? To uphold morality and our values as a nation, right? Anytime a culture shifts from one thing to the other, there has to be something there to replace it, right? And that just wasn't there, and it wasn't there by design, right? Um,
Yeah.
that's why we're seeing all of this, love yourself, do whatever you want to do. Um, a shift is happening. You're right, absolutely right.
Love that. And what Adrian said too.
Fishwife. I'm from Virginia. I missed your comment from a while ago. Sorry. Um, but um,
Yeah, ladies lib went too far. It's, here's the thing. If you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. That's what I feel
mhm,
like. It's like, as a country, we need to stand for,
something.
let's, I mean, go back to the founding fathers. They'd be rolling in their graves right now if they saw what was going on.
Mhm,
Government's gotten way too big. They're
mhm,
telling us all what to do, way too much. I mean, when you've
mhm.
got a president standing up here like Joe Biden did and said, you're going to take this shot or you're going to lose your job. That should never have happened. Why do we have autonomy over our own body to get an abortion, but we don't have autonomy over our own body to get a shot? I mean, if you're going to give, and I don't believe in abortion, okay, I'm not saying I do. I think that's a whole other subject. We probably shouldn't go down that road. I am pro-life, okay? I am pro-life. I'm a pro-life woman. There's a lot of women who have a lot of stories in that area, and I don't criticize any of them for having to maybe have gone through that. It's tough, okay? There's a lot of scenarios out there. But what I'm trying to say is, this stuff that's going on with government, basically, get back to that, is when you've got a deranged man with dementia who can't even freaking walk across the lawn hardly without falling, telling us the things that they were telling us for 4 years.
Mhm.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, Well, no wonder we're in the state that we're in.
Hmm.
I mean, this is just.
Well,
Can we just get back?
there's also accountability for the people, right?
Mhm.
People believe too much in giving it to someone else, right? That someone will come to save us, but
Yeah.
that's not true. No one's coming to save
Yeah.
you, right? No one is coming to save you. You're
Yeah.
right. Hypocrisy has been normalized 100%, but hypocrisy for the
Mhm.
right people, right? That's the problem. Is that, and again, it's bipartisan. It is absolutely bipartisan. Um, I think of when people were pressuring the government to release the Epstein files, and Trump was constantly, it's a Democrat hoax. It's a Democrat hoax. Stop talking about it. Stop talking about it. Right. And also when Tara Reid was coming out about her story with her, accusing Biden of sexual assault. Um, Again, same thing. This didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. So, um, you have all of these instances of hypocrisy, but hypocrisy for the right people, right? And our government is so compromised. It is so. We have. I was talking with a representative from Veterans Affairs not too long ago, and she was telling me that she's not getting paid. That most people that are working for the VA right now are not getting paid at all. So it's not just our military members who are suffering, potentially
Has
starving.
this affected you? Has this affected you, Jonah?
No,
The
no, I mean,
shutdown?
no, I still get my benefits, thankfully,
Oh, good. Okay.
um, but you can imagine as someone who is even struggling living off of my disabilities and can't work because of my disabilities, if I didn't get them, I would be. I mean, I'm still in kind of trouble right now, but I would be even more so, right? Um, but
Mm.
it's just it's been this way for a long time, right? Because when you really start to do your research and really start to dig, you will find out very quickly that since a little bit before the Rockefellers, is when uh, big business decided to capture the government, right? And when at any time that you see a marriage between government and money, a collapse is going to happen. So, and I'm being called crazy for saying that America only has 5 years left. I'm being called crazy, right? But I I see it, right? Um,
Well, at some point, you have to ask yourself, we're how many trillions in debt now?
we will be if if the projection carries the way it's going right now, we will be 40 40
I was going to say
trillion,
it's
I
30.
think, in the next few years, I think. Maybe
How,
next year or two. But
like,
we're
how
at
can that?
7 we're at 37 right now.
Yeah, I thought it was about 35, so I wasn't too far off. How can that sustain itself? You have to think about it. It's like, how can that sustain itself?
It can't. Well, the
You,
thing is that we got off the
yeah,
gold standard, right?
right.
For, for,
Yeah.
first of all, what we got to talk about is that Jefferson, one of our very founding fathers, had warned us about a ghost currency, right? Paper. Um, and we completely disregarded that. And then we centralized our currency, right, through the Federal Reserve. And then we got off the gold standard, okay? And now we are printing money. Just this past year alone, the dollar has lost 10% of its value. Can you imagine the next few years? This is exactly why things are becoming more expensive, right? In 2001, the minimum wage was 7.25. Today, it's 7.25.
Yeah, that's That's nuts. I mean, how, no one can survive off of and I think this is another reason why men are so tired. I mean, everyone's tired. It's like
Hmm.
if you can't make it on, you're a hardworking man and woman, and you're out there working all these jobs, and it's not cutting the mustard, and you're just exhausted. I think that's all by design too. They want to keep us exhausted so we don't pay attention to what they're doing. It's like, let me make some noise over here, so over here you don't see what I'm doing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a tale of time. But everyone that I talk to, everyone that I come across, friends, neighbors, groups we're in, whatever, everyone's tired,
Hmm.
just exhausted from all this crap going on that's been going on for a really long time.
Well, I've said for a while now. I think America has reached a turning point when Charlie was shot. Because this really speaks to your point there.
Yeah.
When the survivors were coming out about their stories, right, and they were literally just going to start name dropping, and they should have done that, and I do support that. They should just start name dropping people. Um,
Yeah.
but a week later, that was September 3rd of this year. September 10th, Charlie was shot,
Mhm.
and they that same day they voted to seal the Epstein files, right? Uh,
Yeah, there's something with this.
well, I mean, you
And
also
look at that. Look what just happened to Andrew, Prince Andrew. He's had his whole whatever it's called removed. Royal Prince Andrew,
mm-hmm,
because he was involved with that girl in Epstein.
mm-hmm, yep,
It's like, are the chips starting to fall? I don't know. I don't understand why we're still waiting on this list. It's like, what is the holdup here? We were told we'd get the list.
that
It's
was one of
because
the
you know,
campaign promises.
exactly, and I think it's because there's probably people on that list that we'll be so freaking shocked to find out
I
that
won't
I
be.
don't. Maybe they just don't feel like I won't be. I
I
won't
will
be
be.
shocked at all. I'm not surprised at anything anymore. Nothing surprises me anymore. But you think about, here's a member of the royal family who just lost his title, lost everything. He's been kicked out of the royal households and all this stuff because he hooked up with that girl who decided to speak out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's
Oh
all
yeah.
just like, and then this thing with Charlie and all these secrets, and we just have to be citizen journalists now. That's what we're doing. We're
Yeah.
trying to sort it out and figure it out and protect
Mm-hmm.
our family. And just like Carrie just said, we've all been spoiled actually and have less chance of survival when it all hits the fan because of it. It's true. It's
Yeah.
almost like most Americans still live, even the way things are, still live better than any country out there.
That's true. That's true. I
I
mean,
mean,
think of how easy it is to order DoorDash, right, and have that food
yeah.
delivered to you in
Mhm.
30 minutes an hour, right? Um,
Yeah, and spend $50 to do it.
well, yeah, tell me about it. But then you have people in Nigeria who are being beheaded for being Christian,
Mhm.
right?
Correct. Yep.
And look, we have it we have it so good over here. We do. Now that is turning and very rapidly, right?
Yeah.
Because people are starting to starve, and of course now that the EBTs have been cut off, people are setting up checkpoints. They're robbing people, um, and of course that's been a thing for a while now, but even more so now. Uh, but I mean, yeah, because of our technological advancements, we've lived a pretty easy life compared to the rest of the planet. Um, but the thing is too is that if we the people don't do anything about it, right, i.e., protesting, calling your local representatives, running for office yourself, to take these people, these traitors, out of office, replace them, right, and truly put America first, right, implement America first uh, policies and laws, right, then our country is going to continue to degrade, right? and this is where I say this is the responsibility of men. We have to do this, right? We should not leave it to our women to do, because as soon as we leave things up to women to do, we then become like Sparta. If you guys don't know, Sparta used to be one of the strongest ancient Greek city states of all time, right? However, in the latter years of Sparta, the men were weakened so much because they started to lose, that the women were stepping up, right? And not too
Mm-hmm.
long after that, because there was a point in time when women actually had a majority in politics, and they collapsed. They
Oh,
collapsed,
oh, yeah.
and they became tribal bands, I believe, after that. But um, once the most powerful Greek city states that there ever was became such a weak vassal state, and then a tribal state after that, right? So, men, we have to step up, right? We have to encourage each other to step up, and change things ourselves, because we can't leave it up to one man, because actually something else I want to show you guys while I have you on stream here. Um, let's see.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I just want to say something real quick. Made
Go
me
for it.
think of men. Like growing up the way I did, where I watched my mom be married a dozen plus times, literally. I've told you that. Maybe you forgot, maybe you didn't, but I watched all those men come and go out of my life and never really be a dad or be a husband and all this different stuff. And I remember thinking to myself, like, is this how men are? Is this what men do? Just get married to a woman and impregnate her, whatever the heck it is, and then for whatever reason it doesn't work out, they take off, and here comes the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And my mom played a part in that. Don't get me wrong. Excuse me, she absolutely did that. But I just remember thinking to myself, how dysfunctional all this is. Like, just a society, just as a society, like again, and this was going on back in the 70s and the 80s. So watching a lot of men come and go out of my mom's life and out of my life, never really having a man that would stand up and be a dad, take responsibility for the kids that he had. Um,
Yeah.
it's like, when did all this start? I mean, that goes way back, obviously, but I'm just a grassroots girl, and I just believe that I believe for myself anyway, I have a role in my home. I'm good at it. My husband has his role. He's good at it. Um, we don't, I don't want to be the leader of the home. I don't want to be a man. I mean, we've got a lesbian running our state right now.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't have any problem with gays. Okay. I had a gay brother that I loved with all of my heart. He's no longer here. It's not that. But her ideologies in running this state are not good. And when you
Right.
start wanting to push that on the kids in school, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, be gay, whatever. But can we keep that private? Why do you have to make it into your government?
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know, that's a problem. And this whole thing you're talking about with men and stuff is this, let's keep our private lives private. We don't have to infiltrate government with transgenderism and anyway, all this stuff.
Well,
It's very,
here's the thing. You cannot separate religion from uh um state, right? Politics. Same thing that you can't separate your personal life from your work life, right? Because
yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
all of it is going to um all of it is going to mesh into the other, right? And so um
Right.
people people already understand that subconsciously. They don't necessarily understand that on the as they look at it, but they do understand it, right? And so um so people, I look at ancient cultures, right? Again, right? Let's say we can use Greece as an example, right? What did they what they called upon their gods when they went to war, right? It's the same thing. You know, we see that. I mean, you just look into the Old Testament, right? The Moabites called on Chemosh, right? Israel called on Adonai, right? And then, you know, later on the Christians called upon Jesus, right? And so you see all of these things, especially with how the church has evolved, right? And you see stuff later on like the Holy Roman Empire, and then you see bringing us to today with America, right? Our laws are based on morality, right? A subjective morality that people believe in, right? This is where
Yeah.
different cultures, you know, agree or disagree with one another, right? Whatever culture is dominant at the time is what is going to dictate the laws of the land. Okay.
That's very true.
And
Very true.
so there's a
Well, here's a question for you then. Here's a question for you to
yeah.
segue to this real quick. And then I'm going to have to go here in just a few minutes. Um, you wouldn't agree with Sharia law coming to our country, would you?
No, absolutely not.
You think that's I wouldn't. I mean,
Absolutely
I know
not.
I don't know you for years and years, but knowing our conversations the way you tend to think, I wouldn't think I knew you'd say no. I mean, so it's like we can't let Sharia law come in here, but yet it sure is trying.
Well,
So again,
Sharia law is already here.
it's already here, but I mean, they're trying to set up mosques and all this stuff. I don't know if you know what's been going on in Texas, but it's like there's a
Well,
whole.
there's
They're trying to
that,
build a whole.
and then there's also Dearborn, Michigan,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, they want to come in here and infiltrate, and they're trying to, and they're here. I get
They
all
have
that.
they've already said as much that they're here to take over.
Oh,
So
absolutely. And when we had all those years of, come on in, everybody.
yeah,
Here we
it's
here we go. So again, it's like back to that man conversation again. Is our men in this country going to stand up? Are we going to have a civil war? I hope not, but it's
yeah.
kind of like we better get ready to fight for our turf,
hmm
you
Well,
know?
definitely get ready to defend ourselves for sure.
Defend our
You know,
turf. Exactly. That's a
we
better
don't
word.
want you know none of us have hatred in our hearts for people. None of us have
No.
you know a bloodlust. We don't want to fight. We don't want to do anything like that. The only reason we ever do fight is for self defense and defending ourselves, right? Um, and when you have people who are in Dearborn, Michigan, who are literally chanting "Death to America" in the streets, what do you think's going to happen, right?
Mhm.
I've said this much: we should be sending the troops there, right,
Exactly.
and removing these people, kicking them out of the country. Why is that so? That it shouldn't be controversial to say that, right? It's incredible that I mean, just talking about transgenderism, right, or the fact that the LGBT is forcing people, you know, to accept them, is controversial.
It
Well,
is. The
it
fact that
shouldn't
it's
be.
even controversial is shocking, isn't
And
it?
I'll be the first one to say it. I'm not exactly for religion, but you know, people have a First Amendment right. You know, we shouldn't be forcing anyone to believe in any way. You know, so but I wanted to show you this, guys. As we were talking about, um, Kamala Harris has taken $9.4 million from APAC. Okay. Then you have Trump, who has taken $230.4 million, and then you also have a JD who has taken 167,000. Okay. You have people that we believed in, right? People that we believed in that thought were going to make a change. Tulsi Gabbard, 46,000. We thought the things were going to make a change, and lo and behold,
Yeah.
they're not. So we have to be the ones to make the change. Okay, guys? We have to be the ones. So
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, it seems like, I mean, I'm a Trumpster. I voted for him. Okay.
yeah.
He's what we got. He's certainly better than what we had. And I think he's doing some good things, but there seems to be a lull in some of the campaign promises. Absolutely. I'm what you just
Oh,
said.
well,
Like
quite a few.
these people absolutely that he appointed to do these things, Cash Patel and Dan Bongino and all these people that we know. What are y'all doing? Like we were told months ago that we were going to have some stuff revealed and the American people demanded it, and you ran on that. So I don't want to get on Trump's ass because he's always been one step ahead of them, and he's always played the game pretty well as far as, I mean, for that man to have gotten back into office with everything that he's gone through over 10 years practically now, it's mind-boggling. So I trust that he knows what he's doing in some areas, but I just feel a little frustrated because I feel like we're not quite getting all the answers that we should be getting as American citizens. And
Yeah.
here's the thing: why would you allow, as a president, as a senator, as a governor, as a mayor of all the different states and all the different we got going on here in our country, you go ahead and believe in your Muslim, Islam, Sharia, whatever, but why are you bringing it over here? You've got a country that lives like that. You've got a place to live like that and believe in that crap. But when you come over here to our country and you try to change how we live, that should be stopped immediately. And the fact, like you're saying, that it's not is very concerning. Like the
Mhm.
fact that these people are even in here and allowed to be chanting that on the streets
Well,
or building.
here's the thing. Everyone has a right
Yeah,
to
to a point.
their First Amendment.
I'm gonna agree with you to a point.
However,
Yeah,
when that First
there's that.
Amendment, when that First Amendment is not protected, right? Whenever you believe in falls outside of the First Amendment, like fight those who don't believe in Allah and His Prophet, right?
Yeah,
Then that falls outside of the First Amendment, and Sharia law
exactly.
falls exceedingly outside of the First Amendment. I mean,
Exactly.
the very foundation of Islam itself falls outside of the First Amendment. Why? Because it started as a war. Um, it started as a what you could I mean a war tribe. You know, it started that way. Um,
Hmm.
war, looting, grape. You know, because I have to censor myself. Unfortunately, but
Yeah,
um, you
I
know,
know. I didn't think about that. We're just blasting ourselves here,
um,
saying all kinds of crap. We probably should be careful.
well, I'm trying to be as careful as possible because YouTube likes to, well, if they like to censor too. So,
Yeah,
anyways, yeah. So it's not about racism or hatred or anything like that. It's about
yeah,
what's the character of the people and of their culture, right? And so far we know that to be oppressive. I mean, all you got to do
hmm,
is look and read some of the Quran itself, right? Read the
hmm,
Hadith, read some of Aisha's, and Aisha being one of his wives that was 9 years old when he consummated marriage. Um, uh, and thighing her at 6 years old, right? Um, you read some of these things, right, and you begin to believe you begin to say, how is it that this religion ever was peaceful? And it never was.
hmm.
It never was, right? And every religion has its own thing, right? Of course, uh, Judaism by wiping out the Amorites, the Hittites, the Jebusites, I mean the list goes on, right? And then you have the Christians when they forced Jewish people to eat pork, And when they extorted their own people to buy their salvation through purgatory and their families through purgatory, and then spectral evidence, and then you also have Islam that is forcing people to pay jizya, and then all of these terrible things. You know, every
Yeah.
religion has had, and of course those are the big three, right? And a lot of people don't know about the Buddhists who executed 500 Christians in Japan, I believe in late 1800s. But you had every single religion has had its own blunder. However, what does the doctrine say? Right. Always get into what does the doctrine say? Is the doctrine truly peaceful? Right. Is it truly peaceful? And so far most of the Quran isn't, and that's not controversial to say. That's not incorrect. That's very truthful. That is the truth, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
if you're coming over here with that ideology, um, I got a problem with that.
so do
I
I.
mean, I just do. That's not how we live in America.
That's not how a
Okay.
civilized society lives.
No,
I
that's
see
just
so
exactly.
many I see so many videos, pictures of these savages who
Yeah.
behead children, right? And then parade it around like it's some kind of trophy. Okay.
Well,
And
Jonah, it's just satanic, my opinion. I totally believe this. You can agree to disagree or whatever. I realize you have your stance on that stuff, but I really truly believe that this is all a spiritual war. I really do. I
mhm,
believe that this has been going on since the beginning of time, and we're in a spiritual war. And if it wasn't a spiritual war, it's like why is Israel always so targeted and all this stuff going on in the Middle East? If it has, in my opinion, it has to do with it. It's because it's God's people, it's God's chosen people. That's biblical, and there's a reason why Satan attacks it. There's a
mhm,
reason why isn't it Japan that's always in the news? Why isn't it Kentucky? It's always Israel, the Jews. It's just there's just always a spotlight on them. And I
mhm,
just really believe we're in a spiritual war here, and it's gonna be that way until Christ returns. So
mhm.
there's my little church spiel for the day.
Well, I've done a lot of digging into Israel, and I have a lot to say on that. But that we will
Yeah,
have to we'll have to put that aside for next time.
yeah,
But
yeah.
thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you, Lisa, for joining. It was a pleasure as always.
Wow,
Again,
2 hours.
before
Holy
we
smoke!
sign off, we
Yeah.
don't hate anyone.
No.
We don't dislike anyone. The only thing that we are doing is voicing our opinions as the First Amendment allows us to
Mhm.
do. So,
There you go.
um, there's no hatred
Absolutely.
at all. I don't say that just because the social justice warriors don't come after us. But I don't have any hatred. I know, Lisa, you don't have any hatred either, for anyone, right? But when we see something that is wrong, we point it out. We point it out. We talk about it. It's not controversial
That's
to
it.
say.
Yeah, it's all based on truth. And if you see something that
Exactly.
is going to affect, bottom line, my family's safety,
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming up swinging.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it's going to be for me as a woman. I mean, whatever I can do to do that. I mean, whether it means getting involved in my civil government or whatever I can do, but
Yeah.
we got to get involved. We just got to get involved, people. If your parents out there, get involved with what's going on at your kids' school. Don't think that they're over there just reading, writing, reading, and arithmetic. Make sure you know what's being put in their heads,
Mm-hmm.
and just be involved. Don't be so. I know we're all tired, but we got to stay vigilant. We got to stay involved in these things so that we can help each other. Number one, help each other, help ourselves, and um,
Yep.
just be there to help one another out, because we're in a situation where I just don't feel like it's pretty hard to trust pretty much
Anyone.
anybody.
Yeah.
The news we cannot no longer trust. Our government we can't trust. We're on our own.
Yeah.
We're on our own.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how I see it.
Exactly. I mean, you're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll just end with that.
Well, what I'll end off with is that, for the people who are constantly complaining about their cultures being taken over, what are you doing to stop it? You know, are you just complaining about it, or are you doing exactly as people are doing over in the UK, in Ireland, protesting and marching to the tunes of hundreds of thousands, right?
Yeah.
You have no right to complain when you do nothing about it, right? And so far, this is what we're doing about it. We're talking about it. We're taking action. Okay. We're going and we're talking to our school boards, right? Our local city council meetings, right?
Yes.
We're going and we're talking about it. And so, that, I should be more active, because even with my disabilities, I can go to a council meeting. I can talk with them there. And so
there you go.
That's what I'm going to start doing.
Well, maybe you can think about that. I did that, and I'll have to say, I got involved in my Washington County. It's WCRP, Washington County Republican Party. I was shocked, actually. And my best friend had been telling me about this because her neighbor, she's now in Florida. Well, she has two homes, Florida and Oregon. She goes back and forth. But anyway, her neighbor had been inviting her to similar meetings to get involved. And so I kind of knew about it from that. And I decided, okay, I'm going to do it. And I went, and I was actually shocked at how many people like you and I are out there. We just need to connect. And, you need to get in person and connect. And that room was full of people who want to make a difference. And, you just do what you can. I think it's just being able to share. It's just like my best friend just said here. See, it's not hard to have conversations, even if you don't agree.
Yeah.
You and I might not agree on every single thing, Jonah, but we agree on the important things. We agree most pretty much. And even on the things we don't agree, you and I aren't sitting here cussing each other out because of it.
Yeah.
We've had conversations about God before, offline, on the phone and stuff like that, and the religion stuff. And I totally get where you're coming from in so many ways, but I think that's what it is. We've got to get back to the point where we can have conversations with each other and not hate someone if they don't agree with everything you say.
Exactly.
So I found that when I went to those meetings and I got more involved, I was just really amazed at all the emails I'm getting and getting involved in some of the fundraising and stuff that now I'm starting to do. How many people are like you and me? They just want a great life for themselves, for their kids, and they don't want any other kind of anything infiltrating that. Pretty simple.
We have to protect our culture.
Exactly. Protecting our American way of life.
It's under attack. It is under attack. So
100%. Yeah.
Anyway,
it was good talking to you today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a blast talking with you, Lysa. Thanks so much for coming back on. Guys, please make sure you show Lysa some love. It takes a lot of courage to come on and especially in front of potentially thousands of people, right, and make your voice heard. It takes some massive courage, especially leaving an MLM. So, guys, thank you. That's awesome. That is awesome. Hearts for days. Hearts for days.
Thanks for being here, guys, and thanks for giving us a platform, Jonah.
Of course, always.
That's why I've had a few people say you need to start your own YouTube, and I'm just like, nah,
you do.
I'm not.
At some point, I think you would do well. I think you would do well.
I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of safe under y'all's wings right now. We'll see. We'll see what God has for me coming up.
There you go. Definitely going to make a change, for sure. A peaceful change, an honorable change, and a true change. That's what we're looking for.
You are too, brother. It was good to see you and your bright smiling face, and you keep going. You know what? You go to your county. Go get involved and let me know how it goes.
Okay. Just well, I mean, you know how outspoken I am, so.
Yeah, but you know what? I want to tell you, you have a lot of wisdom and you have a lot of knowledge about things and government and the past that got us where we're at.
Hmm.
I know you've studied cultures and all those different things, and that plays a part why we're where we're at.
Yeah, it
That
does.
all is accumulative to get us where we are. So
Mhm.
you have knowledge, a width and breadth of knowledge that maybe the average Joe citizen doesn't have,
Right.
or you could help. So I just think that you have a really good voice out there. You have a good heart. You want to make a good change in the world, and that we need. That's what we need. People like that.
We need, yeah, you're right. You're right. We need more people to step up to make a change,
Amen.
to make a good
Amen.
change, change for the better.
Yes. Yes.
So,
All
but
right. Well,
thank you so
bye
much.
everyone.
You take care. Anytime you need me, you reach out. Okay.
All right. Take care.
All right.
See y'all.
Bye, guys. I love you all. Talk to you guys soon.